Hi, my name's Bianca Navarrete, and today I will be discussing my presentation on what makes you over time, the self and personal identity, which is what I chose for my theme today. Today, I'm going to be discussing the philosophical question of personal identity. What makes someone the same person over time, even as they grow, change, and experience life? The big question starts with what makes you the same person over time? Maybe it's our bodies changing, our memories change, or our beliefs change. Sometimes our bodies grow out of itself, or even our memories change. Maybe we have a different perception of our own memories. Maybe we don't remember things the same way that we did before. And our beliefs change, which is can happen very often. Many families can change their beliefs, or even you as your own person, when you grow older, can change your own belief. This question matters because we change physically and mentally throughout our lives. Despite these changes, we still consider ourselves the same person. Philosophy asks, what exactly stays the same? But we don't really know the answer to that. Or maybe we will by the end of this. My thesis statement is that personal identity is best understood as the psychological continuity rather than the physical body alone. I argue that what makes us who we are over time is not our body, but the continuity of our mental life, especially memory and self awareness. Our memory can tell us so much about our lives, even things that we thought we would never remember. But memory is very important, and also self awareness, because when you are self aware, it teaches you to learn and respect others as well, because you know what's going on around you and you look at everything going on around you. So you don't just speak out and say anything to people, you actually think before speaking. Philosophical context. Philosophers have debated identity for centuries. Today, my focus is going to be John Locke and David Hume. Philosophers have debated personal identity for centuries, and this can be things like it is identity based on the body or the soul, or the mind and memory. These philosophers, like John Locke and David Hume, offer different answers that help frame my argument. John Locke, he claimed the memory theory. He believes that personal identity is based on memory and consciousness. If you remember an experience, it is part of you. So whatever you think you remember, or whatever you know that you have remembered, he thinks is part of you, and it makes you who you are. For Locke, remembering your past actions connects you to your past self. Even if your body changes, the memory still preserves identity. As far as this consciousness can be extended backwards, so far reaches the identity of that person, which is something that John Locke mentioned. Strengths of Locke's view. He explains responsibility, he matches everyday experiences, and emphasizes consciousness. This view explains why we feel responsible for the past actions. We remember doing them. It also makes them sense of it also makes sense of how people feel like the same person despite physical aging. Like, for example, we may feel the same way we did before, but we have grown. We may feel the same way that we felt when we were 15 years old, but now we're 20 years old, and of course, we have the same feeling, but we're still the same person despite the age. No matter what age you are, you're still the same first person, so you'll feel like the same person. And now, David Hume, on the other hand, he created the bundle theory, where there is no permanent self. The self is a bundle of perceptions, constantly changing. David Hume disagreed with Locke. He believed that there is no permanent self. He believed that the self is a bundle of changing perceptions. Identity is an illusion created by habit. Hume believed that we look inside ourselves. We never find a single unchanging self. The only self are only thoughts, feelings, and sensations that constantly change. Locke versus Hume. For example, Locke believes that stable identity is through memory, while Hume, on the other hand, believes that identity is an illusion. So Locke is here believing that our identity is made through our memories. So like whatever we remember is how our identities will shape themselves. While on the other hand, Hume believes that identity is an illusion. So he doesn't really believe that identity is a real thing. He believes that it's all fake and that we've been illusionized to believe that we have an identity. Locke believes identity is based on memory and stable self over time. He believes that self equals consciousness, while Hume believes that there's no fixed identity, ever changing bundle, and self equals illusion. Locke believes in a human continuous self tied to memory, while Hume argues that continuity is something we imagine rather than something real. defense on Defense of my own thesis is psychological continuity explains identity better than physical sameness. I support more of Locke's view. I can see from where he's coming from, and I understand that he believes that memory explains continuity better than the body. People with amnesia still retain parts of identity through character. Psycho- Psychological traits persist even as bodies change. Like in my example with people with amnesia, still retaining parts of identity through character. I believe that people, even if they have amnesia, Alzheimer's, or any like sort of disease or sickness that can like cause them to forget things, that doesn't mean that they lose their identity because they still have small characteristics that make them, that make them who they are. Not just because they have this certain illness or sickness means that they're going to lose their character and they're going to lose who they really are. Because I feel like there's things that we, maybe even a family member, if you know them really well and they, let's say they have amnesia, I believe that you still can see who they are based on who you've known them to be, because through their character they might do things that they used to do before, and that's how you will know. Even when memory is imperfect, personality, values, and awareness still connects us over time. This supports psychological continuity rather than physical sameness. Counter argument and response. Memory is unreliable. My response is that identity relies on overlapping memories and characters. Even if we forget certain events, our identity remains intact through overlapping memories and stable traits. I don't believe that memory, I don't believe that our identity remains, I do believe that our identity remains intact, overlapping memories and stable traits. Because even if we forget things, certain events, certain things that we've done in the past, I believe that that doesn't make us who we are. Just because we forget that, it doesn't make us who we are. We can still have our same identity through the memories that we've had and through our stable characteristics and traits. Just because we have forgotten a certain event doesn't mean that it changes who we are or who we have been like our whole lives. I believe that that's not that big of a deal, and that our identity will still be intact. Even with our memories and our stable traits, people will still know us to be who we are with those traits. My personal reflection is that I understand identity and it helps us explain growth, responsibility, and self-understanding. The question This question matters in real life because it shapes how we view growth and change. It affects responsibility and forgiveness. It helps us understand who we are becoming. Understanding identity helps us accept change while still feeling grounded. We can grow without losing ourselves. Just because we're growing in age, who even knows size, or but mainly our age, just because we're growing in age doesn't mean that we're losing ourselves. Maybe that's even helping us grow as people. It's not just like oh, I'm growing old, so I'm gonna be like losing myself. No, we can motivate ourselves and keep us going, and we will never lose ourselves. I believe that identity helps us accept change, but it still helps us feel grounded because it keeps us on our toes. And although we grow, it doesn't mean that we lose ourselves. It just simply means maybe we're maturing. Maybe we're learning how to cope with new things that have happened in life. And it can be anything. Now, for my personal conclusion, my identity is rooted in the mind. We change yet remain meaningfully connected. Personal identity is not physical sameness. Psychological continuity best explains identity. Locke's theory provides a strong foundation, and the self evolves, but it remains meaningfully connected. In conclusion, what makes you you is not your body, but the continuity of your mind, memories, and character. Overall, in this class has helped me learn a lot, and it has helped me like develop who I think I am becoming, and it's not just based on my memories or just not based on my body